Hi, my name is Janai Matthews, and I will be presenting on a new Rasta woman, the progression of Rastafarian women in the United States and Jamaica. My research is based on the customs, traditions, and fundamental beliefs of the Rastafarian religion in relation to women. In order to set the scene, I would like to provide some background information related to the Rastafarian movement as a whole. The Rastafarian religion began in the 1930s, also known as the Third Epoch by Rastafarians. The religion began with Marcus Garvey, a Black political leader who led an organization called the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and this organization linked Blacks to their country of origin. Marcus Garvey later made a prophecy that led to the birth of the Rastafarian movement in Jamaica in the 1930s. Soon after Garvey's prophecy, Rastafari, also known as Haile Selassie, was crowned emperor in Ethiopia, and Rastafarians viewed this crowning of Rastafari as the fulfilling of the prophecy. Later, Leonard P. Howell established the first branch of Rastafari in Jamaica in 1935 and preached the divinity of Haile Selassie. Then the Rastafarian movement began on the island of Jamaica. However, the movement has reached the United States, England, the Caribbean islands, and many other countries. I've decided to focus on Rastafari from 1966 to 1981. The first epoch was from November 2nd, 1930 to late 1940. The second epoch took place in the late 1940s with the emergence of the dreadlocked Rastafari and a second generation of leaders. I've decided to focus on Rastafari from 1966 to 1981, also known as the third epoch. During the third epoch, the Rastafari movement made a firm relationship with reggae music. Some popular Rasta artists include Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, Dennis Brown, Burning Spear, Third World, and Inner Circle. The death of reggae artist Bob Marley changed the influence of the Rastafarian movement on reggae music, and reggae music has been referred to as the message of the Third World brought to them. The popularization of the Rastafarian movement and beginning of modern Rastafarianism in the 1960s has led to many different people joining and endorsing the movement and religion. The views and customs of the seasoned Rastafarians prior to 1960 and the more modern Rastafarians mid 1960 and later differ in more ways than one. The considerable difference examined in my research is the visibility and opportunity for women within the movement. Prior to 1960, the traditional Rastafarian religion was founded on the idea that men should be at the forefront. Traditionally, women within the Rastafarian movement were not given space to speak or even have an opinion about the patriarchal nature of the movement. This led me to ask the question: how has the commercialization of the Rastafarian movement through music, celebrity, popularization of cannabis, and feminist thought fostered new beliefs for Rastafarian women in the 1960s to 1980s in Jamaica and the United States? In my paper, I will argue that, unlike many Rasta women prior to 1960, the women that joined the movement in 1966 to 1981 had a sense of agency, both privately and publicly, with or without the approval of Rasta men. Their agency led to redefined images, expectations, and roles of women in the Rastafarian faith. I chose to research this topic because the progression of Rastafarian women is an important conversation to have because it confronts the formation of feminist thought in a religion driven Caribbean island. Early Rasta women believed that subordination was a requirement or their primary role within the religion. And women who joined Rastafari between 1966 and 1981 have redesigned the idea of subordination with the wake of the feminist movement. Rasta women are rarely asked about their experience within the faith, and my research seeks to provide insight into the lives of Rasta women as well. The main topics that I will cover in my research thus far are traditional Rastafarian beliefs, the Rasta feminist, and Rastafarian houses. I've used interviews, autobiographies, song lyrics, scholarly articles, and books to find this information. These focal points have allowed me to dissect my topic from multiple angles, thus allowing for more in-depth observation of Rastafarian women. Some of the Rastafarian customs and beliefs related to women are as follows. Women cannot be a leader in any Rastafarian rituals. Women are expected to be obedient and willing to learn. Men are the spiritual and physical head of the woman in the family. Women cannot experience the highest height of Rastafari. A woman is unclean when she menstruates and cannot attend any rituals or serve a man during his time. During this time, women are expected to have their head covered when praying. Many of the women who joined the movement from 1966 to 1981 redefined what a Rastafarian woman looked and acted like. Some young women easily accepted their subordinate roles, while others struggled to perform the traditional beliefs because they lived with their families. At the end of the 1970s, Rasta women began to assert themselves as at Rasta gatherings by wearing short skirts and wearing their locks uncovered. When women began to assert themselves, there was some backlash, but this stopped when the Kingsmen overcame objections. And attitudinal changes for Rasta women. They began to speak out more about their concerns and hopes at this time. The way in which a Rasta woman presents herself is connected to her Rastafarian house. These houses are like denominations for Rastafarianism. The Bobo Shanti are very organized, and what sets the Bobo Shanti apart are their tightly wrapped turbans and long flowing black and white robes and sandals. The Naiban, out of all the mansions mentioned, this order is closest to vintage Rastafari and the most orthodox of all the mansions in the Rastafarian movement. Due to their focus on tradition, they focus on the customs and rely on the Bible when creating rules for their women. The 12th tribe of Israel is known as the most disciplined house, and as a result, they are the most strict with their women and view all women as inferior and subordinate no matter the age. The Coptic Church adopted Rastafarian beliefs without accepting Selassie as Jesus reincarnated, and they also believe that Zion is located in Jamaica. Hippies from South Florida went to this church and underwent a conversion process. When they returned, they set up branches in Miami and South Florida. As a result, this house is more relaxed and allows for women to have more agency. Here I have attached my sources for my research information. Here is a continued source list. As I continue to research, I hope to further understand Rastafarian women and the changes that have taken place for them within the Rastafarian religion. Feel free to contact me via email for further questions on my research. Thank you.